What's going on, guys? This is a comprehensive review of Teescape, the Print On Demand app. For most of you guys, or a lot of you that are coming just for the quick understanding of whether you should go with them or not, you don't have to watch the next 10, 15, 20 minutes of this video. I'll just tell you quickly what my review is, and if you want to watch the rest for the in-depth part of it, you can. I would give Teescape a solid 8 out of 10. They don't have a ton of products to offer, but they do have the bases covered that you need to at least get started. Good quality products, cheap pricing. The shipping is fairly fast. Their processing time is fairly fast. Pretty good customer support, and I'm overall happy with them. They're one of the biggest ones that I use, just shy of 500 orders before converting from US print on demand over to Canada. So yeah, I would definitely recommend them over getting started with a large company like Printful. But of course, that's dependent on your business needs and what kind of products that you need moving forward. So without further ado, we'll jump into my computer here and we'll go over the full in-depth review of this. What's going on, guys? It's Adam here from Whatpreneur. Just going over another review video today. This time we're going to be doing Teescape Fulfillment, which is just another print-on-demand company based in the United States. I believe Ohio, I want to say. Anyhow, I'm just going to do a walkthrough of the installation, the setup, a little bit about their pricing, what products to use. I'm going to order some samples as well, and I'll finish up this video once those samples arrive. And I'll let you know my experience. I've done about 500 orders with Teescape. I don't currently work with them anymore for various reasons, but they were definitely my go-to company at the time. I'll post a screenshot here just confirming that I have done the amount of orders that I said I've done. I'm just doing this through a demo store so I can give you guys the full experience for setup, and a couple things to check out yourself when you're getting started, and some things to go through before you finally start to set things up for your customers. So obviously you're going to jump into the Shopify app store and download Teescape Fulfillment. This is just their website here, which I like to reference for shipping information and the pricing on that. You can get an idea of their products as well over here. It'll look the same inside of the app as well. So let's jump into it. Their app is pretty simple. There's nothing too fancy about it. It's nothing like Printful, for example. I like it. It gets the job done. It's not overcomplicated. Yeah, so a couple options that you have is obviously to add some new products here. You can create a manual order for yourself, upload your design, self-explanatory, view your previous orders, or you can select a saved design. So if you're already working with a design that you've uploaded before, but you want to add it onto a different garment, then obviously you would just select a saved design. Now, I haven't really used the design studio. I do everything in Photoshop first. I would rather trust that and then bring it into Teescape than have it done within Teescape. Obviously, in your account settings is where you'll set up your information, the label for your company, email. You can set up order or auto order processing, which means that the orders will automatically be fulfilled, or you can manually review them yourself. We did this back when we had a customization on the product. So on the front was a basic design, and on the back, the customer could customize to their own name. So we had this obviously turned off, and then we would go in and upload the design for the back. It was labor intensive, but if you don't have that, I definitely recommend having auto order processing on. Double size mockups. This is if you're using the mockups from Teescape. They're really not that bad. My personal preference is, again, I get them offsite through some PSD or Photoshop files that are all like ghost mockups, and it adds in the texture of what a print would kind of look like. To me, that looks a lot better, a lot more professional, and I think it was like $79 US. If you guys want to know more about that, I'll do a video on that as well. You have flat rate shipping charges. This is up to you if you want to set this up. We always run flat rate because it's just the easiest, and seeing $4.16 shipping. If a customer sees $3.99, across the board, it's always going to be $3.99. To a customer, $3.99 looks cheaper than $4.16. So it could be the make or break if they convert. Most likely not, but it's just one of those small nuances that you want to think about. And then when factoring your margins, it also makes it a little bit easier because, again, you're across the board at $3.99. And then down here you have a little packing that they add for you. Super nice. It's nothing fancy. Again, nothing extra that you have to really pay for. It's just a simple black and white little thank you note. In here you can add in a referral code, a discount for another order, tell them a bit about your business. whatever. I think it's great. And I think a lot more companies should have something like this. I would like to see more customizations in this space of the pack-ins. I think we're starting to get there, but it's a bit of a complex process. And we haven't quite dialed in fully the whole print on demand situation first. So I think we should probably tackle that before we get more of these in. But they're great to have. Anyway, so we'll go back to design. This, whether you go upload or design, is pretty much the same setup here. You have a little bit more features within the design studio. For me, it truly doesn't make a difference if I'm going through upload or design. And here you can add in your own text, change the product color if you want to see what it looks like in a different color. Usually I just default to white, or you can upload your own stuff. So I'm going to bring in Photoshop here, and we'll go over quick. All right, so as you guys can see here, this is my starting basis when I'm working on design. Usually I go 3,000 by 3,000 by 300. This is a good starting size. Anything much lower, and as you blow it up on a shirt, you start to lose the quality, or it becomes more pixelated, as people would say. So this is a healthy boundary for me. Sometimes I go 5,000 by 5,000. Even 2,500 by 2,500 honestly would be okay, but I wouldn't go any less than that. I'm just happy with the 333 number, so that works for me. Same size, as you can see. All right, so we have the Whatpreneur logo here in black. Now I'm going to do two designs. One is if I was printing on a white shirt, and one if I was printing on a black shirt. And then I like to test those two designs in my samples so I can see the quality of print, because obviously what prints on a white shirt is completely different than what goes on a black, especially with the DTG process. So I'm just going to create a black square here, which is going to be my my background. Let's make sure this is fully black. So we're just going to make it one even color, or one even size. So we'll go white. Go white for this one. I'm going to do, let's center it here. I'll do maybe 5. I think 5 should be enough. Just because I want to do a few different colors, almost like a rainbow. This will allow me to see the different colors when I'm printing on the different designs. So let's see, we'll go white, maybe like a yellow. I like that. Probably a purple. Okay, let's do maybe a green, and then we'll do a blue. Let's see, it's too fluorescent. DTG probably won't print something that fluorescent, so no. I'm okay with that. Oops, and let's go with do dark blue. We'll go with the dark blue. Okay, so this is going to be my design. Now I'm just going to hide this layer here. Obviously, you want to save it as a PNG. Save as PNG. Obviously, we want to change the Photoshop to PNG as well, and we'll do Whatpreneur test. Okay. So we want to upload our file here. This was in the desktop. Right there. Okay, so as you can see here, when you upload a design, you have, when I click, this box right around here. This is your print area. If you've ever worked in an actual print shop before, this would be about the same size or similar to this little platform that you slide the shirt on, which again is just the printing box. So it's up to you on what size you want to print it. I don't like mine too large, but I don't want it this small either. But for me, this is too big. I like a good mid-size. So now click away, and then I'll get rid of that outline, and I'll send it about right there. Now I've always made the design exactly how I want it to look in this digitized mock-up, as I would want it to look once it's printed off. Sorry. Okay, so I'm happy with these colors. I got to change the garment to a black because obviously we have the white logo here. So this was specifically intended for a black shirt. But as we move forward, you'll see that you can choose all the colors that you want. So I don't really need to see it in a black mock-up. Okay, so we can save this design if we want to, or go into our other saved designs, of course, and then we can add products with its design. It's the same button here. If you want to throw something on the back, you can as well. Unfortunately, no sleeve prints or interior tag prints with Teescape, but again, if you're just starting out, this is perfect. Okay, so we'll just call it test. Save. All right, so as you can see, we have all these different options that we can choose from. An absolute ton of colors, a ton of sizing, and a ton of different garments to choose from. I'm obviously just going to go with a t-shirt, although when you are ordering a sample, I would recommend going with a t-shirt and a sweater. Reason being that the fabric is so much thinner on a t-shirt, so the ink will be absorbed a lot easier and generally has a better print. Whereas when you're looking at a thick black or navy sweater and you're printing lighter colors, sometimes it can be a really awful print, and that's just how DTG is. Unless you're going to switch over to screen printing or the newest DTF, which is phenomenal, you're just not going to get those results that you want. So keep that in mind when you're making your designs of what you want to print. My favorite shirt to go with, and you'll see it over here on their page. You can see it when you're within the app as well. It's the exact same layout. So you have your typical Gildan's short sleeve t-shirt. I'm not a fan of them. I think they're great for pricing, super cheap. Obviously $7.50 for a white, $8 for colors. This is in US, by the way. I've never been a huge fan of Gildan. It's a very base layer starting point, and obviously cheap. You kind of pay for what you get. If you're doing huge numbers, yes, this might make sense for you. But if you're trying to create a well-established brand with quality products, I would go with something a little bit different. Out of all the products that are listed here in terms of the t-shirt, this District Young Men's Very Important Tee is, in my opinion, the absolute best. So we're looking at $8.50 white, 9 colors. It's an extra $1 for miles better quality. It's very true to size, super soft material. It's a little bit more loose fitting, a little bit lighter. Everybody that I've given a shirt to in this has always asked for another shirt. Hey, can you make me a shirt, but using that same one that you have before? I cannot find this on any other company. I'm not even entirely sure. When I search for District Young Men's Very Important Tee on Google, the results are usually pretty limited. But it's absolutely one of the best. I am sticking by this no matter what. So this is what I'm going to order. Again, $1 can, be a big difference in the margins for print on demand because they're so minimal already. Obviously, the safest bet is just going with a Gildan short sleeve. But if you really want to know, how these things fit and what the colors are like, I would recommend going to a website like Warden's, for example. This is obviously the Canadian version. This is where most of them have US, by the way. But this is where a lot of these print on demand companies get their products from. So, this Gildan shirt that costs you $8 for a colored print would cost you $4 or $5 on here. So what you can do for the price of, $75 to $100 is you could order every single one of these garments to test out and see which one you like the most. Now, obviously, and that might not be entirely feasible for everybody, but for $100, I think it's absolutely worth it. And then, it comes in blanks, right? There's no printing that's done on it. This is just to figure out sizing. And for me, who likes to be a little more in depth with my products, that's a process that I like, but certainly not something that you need to go through. I would say it's probably best, though, if you're working with a company you've never worked with before. Most of them offer the Gildans, most of them offer the Hanes, the Anvils, and I believe Next Level as well. But if you've never had one of those shirts before, I'd recommend going with a wholesale website like this and then ordering them for super cheap, trying them out. If you want to keep them, great. I like wearing blank garments myself, so I do keep mine. But, you can always just go and take them to a shelter or one of those places you can drop clothes off for people that are in need of them, right? So kind of goes to a good cause at the same time. So anyways, District Young Men's, that's the one I'm rolling with absolutely every single time. The hoodies, Gildan, I don't mind. They just shrink a lot when you wash them, so you have to be careful to hang dry them. And with customers, it's always a difficult thing getting them to go through all these steps of make sure you wash them cold and make sure you hang dry. Like, let's be practical. All of us just throw our stuff in the laundry and the wash and then into the dry, and that's it. I know some people are more particular, but that's what I like to keep in mind for people is the easiest way to do these things. And the District one for me has never let me down in that sense. Now you can see at the top here, this is for one print location. There's an additional charge of $4.50 on whites and $5 on colors if you want to do a reverse print or vice versa. So you'd be looking at about $13 if you wanted to do a front and back print for this Gildan. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and choose what color I want to have this garment on. I usually don't do youth sizing. I just can get a little messy there. Now, if you click the color as I just did, see how it changes the preview for you as well. That's what I meant when I said that I don't really need to change the preview when I was previously looking at the graphic in the design studio there. That's personal preference. Doesn't take any time to do that, but this is how I do it my way. Now, I'm not actually choosing the Gildan anyways, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to minimize this, or I have to open another one. There we go. I'm going to go down to my district. As you can see, a lot less colors in comparison to Gildan. This is going to be on a black design. I do want it in all these sizes, so I'm going to leave it like this because when we further create this product, it's also going to create a SKU within Shopify, and that's how Teescape knows when a customer orders from you, it'll send a trigger to their system to then print the product and ship it out for you. So make sure you have all these sizes checked. Otherwise, you're doing a lot of manual work, and I can tell you it's not fun at all. So we just want black. I'm going to change up the colors for the white. I can show the back of the shirt, obviously nothing on it, and then we'll review and publish. Okay, so now this setup here, oops, I must have had one of the Gildan still checked. I'm not going to add anything here for to let me get away with it, but as you can see, this is exactly what will show in Shopify. So if I put the word Apple here in products, when I publish this, the product name will be Apple. So it kind of saves you a step. Again, super simple, which is why I like it. Same with description, selling price. You can adjust for cost variations. I don't, because if somebody's ordering a 5XL versus somebody that's ordering a medium, even though it costs me an extra, $3 maybe for that 5XL, to me, it's just, if I was a customer, it would feel degraded in a way, that it shows as $19.95, but then because I'm ordering the size that I need, it's now $24.95. That's just my personal opinion. You can do absolutely whatever you want. So I'm just going to call this Webpreneur Colorful Black. Okay. My selling price, I would sell this, if it was US, I'd probably do somewhere between 19 and 23, but we'll say 19. I'm not going to adjust. You can add it to a collection if you had one specifically. Again, this is just making it easier for you. Now you can add and publish, which means obviously it's going to publish to the website, or you can just add and then don't publish later. This is usually the one that I choose because there's things that I want to go in and change on the product. Sorry about that. I accidentally unplugged my microphone there. So anyways, just add, don't publish is what I'm going to go with because I like to change these mockups. Although this is definitely sufficient, this isn't bad at all. I just have a personal preference of how I like my mockups to look. And again, I can go over that in a different video. So we're going to add the products. It's just going to create these SKUs. Let's get rid of this. Product failed. This one is talking about the first one, obviously the Gildan, because I didn't put any information in there. So now if we go into our products, we should see, there it is, the Webpreneur Colorful Black. It's not published, but if we do go into our SKUs, we should see the open bulk editor, Teescape, and then this is their internal product number. Okay, so I'm going to just change, if I bring over my design here, because we need to make this in black for our white tee. Okay. And we'll save that. We'll call it Webpreneur Test 1. All right. So we'll go back into our apps and we'll do that exact same process again. We're going to do new ad products. Stickers was something added in pretty recently. I never ordered any of them, but I think probably, great to have in your store as well. There was a time when they were doing mugs, and I think they almost got into hats too, but because of COVID, obviously, that changed a lot of things. One thing I did notice with that though, and keep in mind, I was doing this pre-COVID, they had a temporary price increase. They've rolled that back. How often do you hear that a company increases prices and then takes that back again? Really genuine, good people that run this company for sure. And their production times are returned back to normal again. Okay, so we're going to add shirts. we're back to the similar studio again. This time we're in the upload section instead of design. Not big difference here. You can change the color or style. If I wanted to, I could go on, like right now it just defaults to Gildan. I could go in and change it to the district, but once I get to that final step before publishing them to my site anyways on the back end, that's where I can change that. So for me, there's no point in changing it here. It's up to you. For the sake of the video, I guess we'll do it. So we'll choose a different style, go with our district. Obviously, we're doing white for this one, right? Okay, so we're going to use that, and then we'll go back to upload. And it is this guy. Okay, try and get a similar size, and we'll say, about there. I'm happy with that. Continue. We'll call this design, I know that we called the last one test. We'll call this test white tee. Okay, I'm happy with those sizes. We'll review. I don't remember what the name was that we called the, I think it was Wellpreneur Colorful Black. Yeah. Okay. White, take that off. 19, just add, don't publish. Okay, and then we'll view it. Perfect. All set, good to go. This is where obviously you would add in the mock-up for the shirt, especially if you're doing different colors. That's when the manual work comes in, and you'd have to match up. Obviously, if you're like a white, a black, and a red, you don't want them all having the same mock-up, so you'd have to go in and change the images. But anyways, now we want to create a manual order. So Teescape has my designs in their backend. Even though it's not published on my store, they do have them. And this is a process you can go through even after you've kind of started, but you're trying out a new design. Say if you want to see how it prints, you don't have to add it to your store or publish it, make it live, add it to the backend, and then you can go and order it without customers, finding out about it. So I'm going to go ahead and place a manual order here on Teescape, but just before I do, I want to show you guys the shipping settings, approximately how long things take, and the pricing of them as well. So all of their orders ship within 2 to 4 business days from the date that they're ordered. So customer places an order, say on Monday, that would be Tuesday, Wednesday, it should get printed, could be Thursday or Friday. It's then shipped out. Then you have about 5 to 10 business days for it to arrive. Now, if it's going within the US domestically, it's obviously quicker. Canada will be a little bit longer. UK and international, obviously longer than that. Now, I charge customers in flat rate just because it keeps things consistent, like I said, but you can choose to be charged by Teescape with their own flat rate or weight-based. Now, this is dependent on your volume and what makes sense for you. This is some calculation that you're going to have to figure out on your own in your own store. So 0 to 0.479 pounds is $3. Now, how do you know what that means in terms of, is that a t-shirt, is that a tank top, etc.? Well, if you go into your products here and you open up the bulk editor, weight field usually isn't there. So you can just go in, add the weight field. This is what you're looking at for a small. And the way that I calculate a shirt is I'll go by the largest size, okay? So we'll take 0.474 kilograms. They do it in pounds. Looking about just over 1 pound. So you'd be looking right here. So within the US, for the largest size t-shirt, you'd be looking at $8. Now, mostly because it should be a little bit less than a pound. In this example, using a 4XL, if that's not a super common one for you, usually it's small through extra large, you'd be looking at under a pound anyway, so about $6 for shipment. Now, you can use their flat rate, which goes by your first shirt and then additional. Now, that might be cheaper for you. So, for example, for just one shirt, it's $5.75. Whereas if you want to go with a 4XL, you would be looking at $10 in Canada, okay? $8 for US, or $3.50 for a t-shirt of any size. So it looks like flat rate might be the best option to start with in terms of you being charged, and same with passing that on to the customer. So if I'm being charged $3.50 for one shirt, I'm probably going to charge the customer $2.99. I think $2.99 is incredibly appealing in comparison to $3.50 for a t-shirt at a checkout. Now, you can make up for that 50-cent difference in your product price if you want to, but at the end of the day, it is 50 cents and then merely $1.50 per additional shirt. Now, this is all done and reflected in your own shipping settings. If you guys want another video, then I can obviously show that as well. But there's a little bit of manual work that needs to be done there to get all these settings set up. Okay. So let's jump back into a manual order here. Make sure in your account settings that all the information is filled out. You have your payments on file, your shipping information on file, everything's done there. Now this is an original store that I use. As you can see, 452 orders that have been shipped. So I'm going to go in and create a new manual order. Now this will just default to whatever the most recent product was. This is the black version. So I'm going to choose a different style shirt because we want a district. This is for the black design. We'll do a medium, and I'm going to add that to my order. Okay. Continue because I want to add another product here. We will go with this design, and we'll change this up to district. Again, mediums. I'm doing my size. The reason I do my size is because I know I'm a true medium in everything. So when I receive it, if it fits like a true medium, I can be the judge of that because I know what my sizing is. If it's super tight, I know that it's fitting on the small end, and I might have to change up the sizing from what they say is a small to what my website says is a small. Okay, it's a little bit complex, but that's something you got to figure out by ordering all those blanks and understanding the sizing. Okay, so I'm going to add this one as well. Then you go to complete. The order number is if you're doing manual orders. Obviously, I don't have any manual orders right now, aside from the one that I'm creating that would tie into an order number. But if you're doing this in volume for actual customers, then you would. So I'm going to go ahead and enter my information in. Okay, now that my information is all set up here, I'm going to go ahead and create the order. Okay, so order's been placed. I can now go and view the orders. Okay, and as you can see here, we have an auto number that's been generated for this order in their backend system, and as it says, new order. So this should change to shipped or processing once they've gone ahead and fulfilled that or done the print, and then once they update the tracking information, this should show as shipped. So right now we are on August 15th, a Sunday. I will update this video once it's been shipped out to judge the processing time, and then I will finish off the video with the actual product in hand to show you guys. All right, guys, I just want to check back in with my order now that's been shipped out from Teescape. A step that I'd forgotten in that process when I ordered on, I believe it was the Saturday, was there's an additional step when you create a manual order. So I just did a manual order here. As you can see, it's been placed into the account. But you can see that it's not going to be fulfilled until it's been processed. So if I go over to my orders, we can see that I still have an order being processed. If you want to see this from the main screen, you can see here in pending. Once it's out of pending, which means that you've actually processed it, it should show up in production. So this is what it looked like before. What you have to do is click on this box, and you have this option to make an action, kind of just like with Shopify products. You have to go to manually process. Now, sometimes you can have an abundance of orders here, and you would just select them all, and you can do manually process or to place on hold if there's something specific that you have to do with them. So I did not process this. It just sat in new order here. So I processed it on the 17th of August. It's now the 21st. And it was about 4 p.m. on the 17th. So if we go back to our dashboard here, it went into production that night, which means it was scheduled to be printed the next day. And then if we go into our shipped orders here, this one right here, we can see that it was ordered again on the 17th. Like I said, it was then shipped out on the 18th. That means that not even a full 24 hours for Teescape to create these two orders, print them, and ship them off. I think that's pretty incredible. So I'll jump back into the video once they've arrived, and we will do an overview with the camera of them. All right, so I received my order from Teescape, the 2 t-shirts that I showed you guys that we are going to order as a sample, and then I could kind of walk you through how the print was. I ordered on August 16th. The 17th. It was shipped out on the 18th, so one day later it was printed and shipped. And then I received it here in Canada on August 26th, which was exactly a week and a day later. So it was shipped out on the Wednesday. I received it on the following Thursday. So about 5 or 6 business days from the US to Canada. Not bad at all, super quick. So let's jump into some details and take a look at it. All right, so we got the white and black tee. Now I accidentally got the Gildan Heavy Cottons. I meant to get the Young District Men's tee. I know where I went wrong in the ordering process. That was my fault, not theirs. Regardless, I ordered them just so that you guys could see the print quality of how DTG works. So this is the white tee. We went with a multicolor. Let me open this up.